Greetings, my dear Gothlings. I'm Sir William Wells, and I just wanted to put together a quick video to talk about the coronavirus. As some of you may or may not know, I was quite ill about 3 weeks ago. My symptoms were exactly of the coronavirus, and I wanted to talk to you about it in case you're going through something that's quite similar, or maybe afraid, or asking yourself, do I have the coronavirus? What is this? What are the symptoms? The information out there is it's all over the place. Really, it is. And it's a scary time. So I want to explain in this video what happened to me about 3 weeks ago and how I got out of it. Okay? So what happened to me was, at first, and I kid you not, on Friday the 13th, I came down with kind of a case of bronchitis. I had some friends over at the restaurant and my voice started getting raspier and raspier. I've been through this before. I didn't think it was a big deal, maybe a seasonal cold coming on, but I didn't want to take my chances. The next day, on Saturday the 14th, the bronchitis was getting a bit worse. My voice was just really, really raspy. I wasn't feeling very well. So I decided to take the whole weekend off and see where this cold might end up. Usually I get a bug that lasts 24 to 48 hours. No big deal. I still have my tonsils. Those didn't get flared up, which was kind of a warning sign, I think, at first, because usually my tonsils are a first line of defense. They weren't affected at all. I didn't have a sore throat or anything. It wasn't until Tuesday, actually St. Patrick's Day, when the entire city of New York was shut down, no St. Patrick's Day parade, no drinking at any Irish bars, that I was finally over this bronchitis, but I still wasn't feeling right. I went outside to buy some wine, to buy some groceries. I still felt this like cold or flu kind of thing lingering on. Then I started noticing a fever coming on. And I remember I went to the store and I treated myself to some Smart Food cheddar popcorn, which usually is very flavorful. But as I was eating it, I noticed that it has no taste at all. You could even check my Facebook feed. I posted that this popcorn had no taste or smell whatsoever. And usually it was kind of fragrant. So I found that kind of odd. But, oh well, felt kind of weird. My sense of smell and taste was kind of withering away. And then I noticed I was getting a headache that just wouldn't go away. By Wednesday night, I would notice that my fever was climbing. I have this digital thermometer that I use religiously. It's been with me for years. And I've noticed that my temperature was climbing from 99 to 100 to 100.5 to 101, then back down again to 98, 99, but then at night it would climb to 101, 101.5, and so on and so on. It was also during this time that I developed a dry cough. Now, again, the bronchitis is gone, but I could feel a weight on my chest. And I noticed that I couldn't take very deep breaths. Now, I've got like a lot of lung capacity here. I'm not a very small person. But I wasn't able to hold a deep breath for a very long time. I wasn't even able to yawn without a coughing fit. This actually reminded me how I used to be when I quit smoking about 18 years ago, with just hacking up phlegm, and it was the worst feeling. That's why I stopped smoking cigarettes. The worst was actually gasping for air and only being able to take shallow breaths. That was the scary part. Next, the fatigue was overwhelming. I spent the next few nights sleeping 12 to 14 hours long. On the worst night, on Saturday, March the 21st, I wrapped myself up in my comforter and 2 fleece blankets and hit a fever high of 102.5. And I spent the entire next 14 hours just battling sweats, chills, and shivers. It was horrible. I was having dreams that made no sense, and usually I'm an expert dreamer, but I was confused. I didn't know what was reality, what was a dream. It was actually, well, for those who take like some wacky drugs, you know what I'm talking about. Because of the fever, I was just having hallucinations, just delusions, everything just My fever numbers became a math problem in my mind. It was just very, very bizarre time for me, and I had to really just hunker down and sweat it out. Yeah, it was actually scary, but I was still able to breathe, and that was the most important thing. Okay, so you have to understand that at this particular moment, very early on, about 3 weeks to a month ago, testing for the coronavirus wasn't really available in New York City. There was they only said if you had symptoms, or if you were only able to go through a drive-through testing facility. I don't drive. You were able to do so, and at the same time, New York State canceled my health insurance coverage. And that's a whole other story for a whole other time. So I wasn't able to just go to an emergency room to get tested. So this was a very tough time for me to figure out what to do. Do I write it out? Do I take a financial hit because I don't have insurance? Side note, since then I won that case. I have health insurance back. Yay, I won. It was very scary. It's a very scary time. So I did not officially get tested for the coronavirus. I want to put that out there. So I chose to hunker down, wrap myself up in a blanket, and fight each symptom on its own, one at a time. First, with the fever. I focused on getting my fever down by taking some fever reducers, but again, wrapping myself up in multiple blankets, like a cocoon, just sweating it out, and drinking a crazy amount of fluids. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah, wine. Although technically a fluid, not good in this case. Just a lot of water. Just room temperature water by the gallons. Next, I focused on my lungs and clearing out my lungs. Coughing out all of the phlegm, the bile, all that crap that is there to help you, and getting all of that out of your system. I also did a bunch of breathing exercises that would help my lung capacity. Like I said before, I wasn't able to hold a deep breath for very long, not past like a couple of seconds. But what the medical community says is if you could hold your breath for longer than 10 seconds, it's good. But I couldn't hold it for like 2 seconds, but then 3, then 5, and so forth, until I was able to take either a deep breath or a deep yawn once again. After going through all of that, by Wednesday, March the 25th, I was feeling 100% better. Now, I want you to understand, my symptoms were considered mild, very mild, compared to what people are going through in hospitals and the ICUs and who are even dying from the coronavirus. I do not want you to think that, this was a huge illness for me. It was actually quite mild, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that. And by no means am I comparing myself to those who have had it much worse than I did. I consider myself very grateful and very lucky, actually. In the end, I just wanted to share with you my experience and my symptoms that were basically congruent with the coronavirus symptoms. In case you are going through something that feels sort of similar and you're worried that you might have it, once again, the symptoms for this, they are a fever, a headache, a loss of sense of smell or taste, a dry cough, pressure on your chest, shortness of breath, and fatigue. Now, that's not in any particular order. So if it becomes really unbearable, you must seek medical attention. I fortunately beat it somehow, and now I'm still quarantined and in isolation, waiting for an antibody test that will give me the certificate of I'm immune to the coronavirus, but I still don't know whether or not I can contaminate somebody else, or it's just, Happy 2020. So anyway, I hope that you're staying safe, isolating, social distancing, all of this. You know what? I'm going to state right here that we are officially in the future. Black Mirror, the show Black Mirror, that's an historical document at this point. Blade Runner, yeah, we're there. All Outbreak, all of this, we are in the future, and this is our new normal. Again, with all the people dying, as a goth, I now wear black to mourn those who have lost that fight. And it's horrible. And we're all, again, like they keep saying, we're all in this together. But yeah, just be safe. I love you all. And we'll party soon again. We'll party and have a great time. And I'll see you in the dark.